Hi, I'm Julie, keeper of my home. Today's video is sponsored by Epere produce bags. Their color-coded bags are biodegradable, 100% food safe, and 100% BPA and lead-free. Now, Epere is a USA-based company that has created produce bags to eliminate food waste and to eliminate using plastic. These bags can replace up to 1,000 plastic bags. Unlike cotton mesh bags, these bags are waterproof and freezer friendly.
Epere produce bags have truly been a great way to store my fruits and vegetables. They stay fresh longer, which means less food waste and more money saved. Now, you've heard me say it so many times here on my channel, waste not, want not. Epere produce bags definitely help me with that. To use these bags, remove your fresh fruits and vegetables from their original package, wash them and dry them, put them in the bags and store them in your refrigerator. These bags are hand washable and dishwasher safe as well. I especially love that these produce bags seal out moisture, so I don't have to worry about my food spoiling while being stored in them. These are some Fiddleheads that we picked earlier in the week, and look, you can see they're still quite fresh. Hear that snap? That's fresh produce, and I love that these bags help me store and keep my food fresh longer. Food prices are rising, especially produce. So if you can make your produce last longer, that's a win. I don't want to have to keep going back to the store to buy produce because my produce has not lasted in my refrigerator and it's spoiled a lot quicker than I thought it would. With the Epere produce bags, I don't have to worry about that. I can fix salads with fresh ingredients. Look at these tomatoes. Look at these cucumbers. Everything is fresh, and they've been stored in these bags for several days, and they're still really good. I love that. It's hard to find a product that does everything you want it to do, and I feel like I've definitely found that with Epere produce bags. Now, these aren't just for fruits and vegetables. Use them to store your makeup when you're getting ready for an upcoming trip, or maybe you just want to throw some things in your purse. You can also use them for those small toys that your children have that get scattered all about. I love these for that. And I use them for to-go snacks. Just pack everything into a backpack, sling it over your shoulder, and you're ready to go.
Epere is offering all of my viewers a 10% off discount code. I will leave that down in the description box below. Now today I am going to make something a little bit different because here where I live in northern Maine, it's Fiddlehead season. So today I am going to make some cream of Fiddlehead soup. This is a great way to use Fiddleheads. You can freeze them and eat them throughout the year because spring is the only time you can get them here. And it's a very short season, a very short season. So if you don't get them, you miss out. But we like them fresh. And so I've decided to put them in a soup. I thought that would be something really great. And it's been really rainy here lately, so soup is always nice for a rainy day. So let's get started with that. First thing I'm gonna do is add a couple tablespoons of butter to my pan. Now this is a heavy bottom glazed cast iron pan. I like using cast iron, so this is one of my favorite pans to use actually. So we're gonna get this melted, and while this is melting, I've got this down on low, I'm going to chop up an onion. This guy looks like he's needing to be used. He's starting to sprout a little bit, so waste not, want not, right? My mother used to say that all the time, and now I find myself saying it all the time. What we're going to do is dice this onion up. So I'm going to slice it first and then dice it, or however you want to do it. Just get it chopped up. I'm gonna add those to my butter. You want to keep your eye on them. You don't want them to burn on, and they're gonna sweat a little bit and release some juices. Okay, while they're cooking in here a little bit, we're gonna cut up some garlic. Now, this is some fresh garlic from our garden that we grew last year. This year's garlic will be ready in July, and I cannot wait. Garlic is so sticky. I don't know if you've noticed that. If you're a garlic person, we are garlic people here. So I'm just going to give this a rough chop. It's not going to be chopped up too much. I'm going to do a couple, I think. We like garlic, so add lots of garlic flavor. Now you can add as little or as much as you like. If you're not a fan of garlic, don't add it. It's not anything that's mandatory. You can always add garlic seasoning too if you like that. Once I added that garlic, I'm just going to give it a stir. And you can see that starting to cook down a little bit and become translucent, and that's what we want. Now, everything looks good, so what I'm going to do next is add in 1 tablespoon of flour. It's just regular all-purpose flour. I'm going to stir that around good, and I'm going to let it cook for a couple of minutes. I don't want this up too high, so I have it on low. I just want to cook the flavor out of the flour, and I don't want it to burn on. This is going to help the soup thicken a little bit, so that it's not like a runny soup. It's going to have a little thickness to it, richness. Okay, we're going to let that cook for a couple of minutes, and while that's cooking, now I'm going to chop up carrots. Now this is just 1 stick, and that's 1 small sweet potato. The carrots, these carrots are carrots that we took out of our garden in October of last year. You can see how fresh they still are. They're incredible, and all we did was store them in our storage refrigerator. It was nice to have fresh carrots all winter long. So I'm going to add these into my measuring cup with my potatoes. So when I get ready to pour that in, I just dump it all in at once. This is some chicken broth that I canned. I always like canning my own broth, and it's so easy to do. I'm going to add about 4 cups. And if you don't have chicken broth, you can substitute and use vegetable broth. That would be fine. If you don't want to use sweet potato, use regular potato. I could have used regular potato, but I didn't have any, and honestly, I like sweet potato a lot better. Now, while this is coming to boil, I'm going to get my fiddleheads ready. These are my fiddleheads. And what I want here are 2 cups, roughly chopped. Now, fiddleheads grow on the riverbanks, the northern part of the United States. Mostly, I think some grow in Canada, and I'm not sure whereabouts from there. I want to say they do grow in Alaska. I'm not familiar with all the areas that you can find them in. I don't know, they're kind of a delicacy. I know some people think we're crazy for eating a fern that grows on the side of the riverbed, but these are so good. They taste like, well, I don't know exactly what they taste like. They don't have a really strong flavor, like almost like a green bean maybe and spinach, kind of a cross between the two. I'm not really sure, but they are delicious. They're great if you just boil them and in some chicken broth or vegetable broth. That's what I like to do when I cook them. They're great in soups, they're great in stir fries. Just want to make sure you cook them first, because you can't stir fry them from raw form. That just doesn't work. I know people have tried, but you know, they are hard and they do need to be cooked. So, and you can see that I'm using my Ipere bags. These keep them so fresh. So, okay, I think I probably have about 2 cups. So I'm gonna measure this out. If you're a little bit over, no worries. And if you don't have fiddleheads, if you can't get them in your area, this will work great with asparagus or broccoli. Okay, you can see that the soup is at a rolling boil, so I'm going to add my vegetables. Now this is the sweet potato and the carrots and the fiddleheads. Add all of that in, get it stirred up. And look at all that goodness. This is gonna be so good, and it is so good for you. All of this has so many healthy nutrients and vitamins in it. And we're gonna cream this up, so it'll be a good way to disguise any vegetables, healthy vegetables you're trying to get your kids to eat. Or your picky husband. Okay, we're gonna cover this and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. If you've never seen a fiddlehead, this is a fiddlehead. You can see they're just like a little fern, and they grow. See, there's still some coming up. They grow right by the water in places up here in northern Maine and Canada, and they are literally a delicacy. And people wait all year for these yummy little delicious bits of goodness. So Riley, what do you think about your first adventure fiddleheading?
I don't really like going through the forest, but I like coming down here and getting fillets because it's fun picking. And we already almost have a bucket full.
Now if you look these up, it's going to tell you they taste like asparagus. And they kind of do. I guess I liken them more to green beans, but either way, they don't really have a strong flavor, but they are so, so good. Fiddleheads are really healthy too. They have lots of potassium, iron, and antioxidants. These are definitely a Maine delicacy, and they can, like I said, be found in the early spring. They usually come out just as the weather's starting to get really good, like when the snow is all gone and then you start getting into those warmer temperatures. It's just a really big thing. There's a lot of roadside stands where people sell the fiddleheads, and I think the average price right now is $3 a pound for these. And they can go quite high, the price, in different places. I know in New York, people have them seasonally on their restaurant menus, and you pay a pretty penny for them. But here in our neck of the woods, we just walk out in our backyard and get them on the side of the brook. All right, let's see what this looks like. Simmering nicely. Turn that temperature down just a little bit. We still have 15 minutes left on the timer. So I'm going to keep this covered and just let it simmer. Okay, I turned the heat off and I've let this sit for a little bit so that it's not quite so steaming hot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some green curry. This is just some green curry paste. I'm letting my husband add it. He put about, I don't know, 2 tablespoons in here. It's a guesstimate because it is according to taste. So add according to what your taste is. So now that that is added in here, I'm going to take the emulsion blender and I'm going to blend this up. If you don't have one of these, you can do your soup a little bit at a time. I wouldn't do the whole thing, but put it in a blender and blend it up a little bit at a time, but let it cool. because it will explode if it's too hot and you try to blend it. Got this all blended, and I'm gonna give it a stir. This smells so good. I don't know if you've ever had green curry, but it's delicious. Okay, now to this, I'm going to add some coconut cream. This is just some coconut cream. You can buy this at Walmart. Now this is not the milk. This is just the cream. We're just gonna add that all in here. I love using this. If this is not something you want to use, you can replace coconut cream with just plain heavy cream. That will work just as well. I'm gonna put the heat back on here a little bit and melt that cream in. This is something that is super delicious. And like I said, it's pretty versatile because if you don't have Fiddleheads or you don't want to use Fiddleheads, go ahead and use asparagus or use broccoli. If you don't have coconut, go ahead and coconut cream, go ahead and use just regular heavy cream. If you want a thinner soup, then go ahead and add a little bit more chicken broth to this. I like it a little bit thick, and Joe likes it a little bit thick, so... Okay, my husband is to my side here passing me things. He wants to add something else. This is some Thai seasoning. This is just something you can buy at Walmart. It's a mix of cilantro, ginger, lemongrass, chili peppers, and it gives you a little bit more of a Thai flavor. I am just gonna put about a tablespoon in there and mix that in. You do not have to add this if you do not want to. This was something that he just asked me to add. Like I said, he really loves the Thai flavor, so needs a little bit of salt and pepper, I think. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Give it a little stir. Now I am going to serve this with some garlic and Parmesan bread, some homemade bread that I made. I think it's going to pair well with this soup. Okay, now I've got to ask my husband to taste this because he's actually got a better palate than I do for tasting. Want to come have a taste? What do you think?
Got a little bite to it, but it's good.
Okay.
Just a little.
All
Did you
right.
put me this stuff in? Or?
Yep, I did. He's making sure, going behind me, making sure I
Gotta watch her.
added the spice that he wanted. Okay, let's get this put in a bowl and get the bread ready. Do you want your bread, just bread, warmed up, or do you want it toasted with your soup?
Toasted the garlic bread, probably.
We're gonna have it toasted, so I'm gonna toast that up. I want to thank ePuree for sponsoring today's video, and if you'd like to get 10% off these bags or any of their other products, just click on the link below in my description box. And until next time.
Good stuff.